Hi, I'm Rosalind Martin, and this is...
Alex Slowly. What are we going to talk about, Roz?
We're going to talk about Agile Cheer, taking principles from cheerleading in the professional sporting context and applying them to the workforce to help build and sustain high-performing teams.
Woo!
Again, beauty brawn.
Hi, so I'm Steve Mowbray with Agile World News, and we are here with Rosalind Martin and Alex Slowly. They're both here from Sydney, Australia. They came all the way to Agile 2022 to hang out and teach us and help us do Agile cheerleading, which is absolutely brilliant. I love the whole concept.
Awesome.
So tell me about Agile cheerleading. How did you guys come to Agile cheerleading? What's up with that?
Okay, so we'll start from the beginning. I used to be a dancer prior to Tessa. He's actually better than me.
You're a hula dancer, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Square dancer.
Square dancer. That's
We
it.
are in Nashville.
Yeah, fitting. So I was a dancer and I used to cheerlead in Australia for some of the professional sporting bodies. Yes, that's it, Alex. I learned a lot about, obviously, dance, but teams, but energizing teams. So as a cheerleader, our job is to energize like the crowd, but also the teams. And there's a few techniques we use to do that. And so that was kind of ingrained from my early adulthood, my formative years. And then finished university, ended up, having a corporate career, and now I'm a product manager. And Alex and I used to work in the same office together.
We sat next to each other.
Yeah, we sat next to each other.
Sat next to each other. Now, when you guys took on the cheerleading, you took on the seriousness of actually motivating people.
Yeah.
And you were just the eye candy, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Alex, you were there.
I'm definitely the silly one. And Roz is the professional one for sure.
Okay, so you were product manager.
Yeah.
And as we heard from Melissa Perry this morning, it's
Yeah.
like and it is the missing link, product management. It is, because everybody got good at Scrum.
Yeah.
That was relatively easy, and then it all got backed up because we had all this. And then Gene King came along, brilliant man, created this wonderful book, wonderful story, this cute little thing called DevOps, and we could measure everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
We could show. Look, it used to take us a week. Now it takes us a day.
Yeah.
And now it takes us 30 minutes to spin it. And the whole product management piece. Now people are realizing we're building the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So what do we do? And it's hard to measure.
Yeah.
Right? It's very hard to measure. So how did you go from dancing, office, Alex, what you do now?
So I started a meeting at work with dancing. It was a really fun, it was a bit of an experiment in the beginning. I was bringing together a bunch of people from different parts of the business and wanted them to be able to instantly bond. So I had done that, started a meeting with a dance and with a cheer. And later on, Alex and I were sitting next to each other and I told him about it. He said, that's really interesting. Let's unpack it. Tell me the background, tell me the context.
Yeah.
And so went through like my background as a dancer, as a dance teacher and cheerleading.
Yeah.
And then we're like, there's something here. As an Agile coach, there were some tips and techniques that we could use. And I've always subliminally been using cheer techniques in motivating my teams, just naturally.
You mean unconsciously?
Subconsciously.
Subconsciously.
Still jet lagged.
You've been used to it, okay.
Still tired. Not subliminally.
They are
subconsciously.
Okay, so we are way behind the time schedule. So
Oh yeah, it's like it's nighttime, night back home. Anyway.
So what type of techniques were you using?
Yeah, so there was obviously physically dance.
Yeah.
And that was actually quite good during lockdown when all the meetings were on Zoom.
Yeah.
Because people get really tired. So we could stand up and do a little bit of dance or play some music over the Zoom and we'd kind of dance and cheer together as a
And
group.
it's fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool.
Good energizer.
That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah. So there was that. And then in terms of actually when I'm running teams, I've worked for a few different places and what we would do is like really pause and celebrate, intentionally celebrate. It can be different ways, depending on where you're working, but to really pause and celebrate those moments. Just like when a touchdown is scored and in the professional sporting context, we get up and we cheer. So similar concept. So sometimes it can be physically dancing, other times it's supporting the team when they're down and out, getting them still to go across the line and celebrating. Yeah.
Well, I remember our first conversation when you came back from the meeting and you were talking about it, and I was interested because I could imagine a bunch of people in suits and ties dancing, and I thought that was awesome. And then you said you were like a royal ballerina, and I was like, whoa, royal ballerina, that's pretty cool. Right? Okay. And
let me clarify, I'm not a royal ballerina.
Well, I mean, that's what I heard, right? Royal ballerina, that sounds awesome.
But I'm trained with the Royal Academy of Dance, and I have a training certificate to give accreditation to be able to teach all over the world. Yeah.
Okay, so basically you are physically, artistically awesome.
Well, I was.
No, you still are. You still are. Look, once you get, all right, so you're a brilliant dancer. Obviously, wow, that
better than us, probably.
Okay.
Well, better than
so we're sitting here with greatness.
Yes,
in many ways. So,
yes,
so that is awesome. So you learned to do the dance. You came back from the meeting. You were wearing a suit, obviously, Alex.
Right. Yeah.
I picture you in a suit right now.
I took off my tie and jacket, and then we talked about this is all fun and awesome. But Roz, you were talking like getting down to the fundamentals, the values, the principles. And that's where we said, okay, how do we take this out to like the people who might benefit from this, right? I think that's where we ended up. I don't know. It's kind of hazy because this was like, what, 3 years ago?
Yeah, before pandemic.
Yeah, it was before pandemic. So we've been dance partners for quite a while.
It's been the highlight of my dance.
Thank you.
That's
I
for sure.
appreciate that. Yeah, me too.
Okay. So you started the meeting with it, and that seemed to work.
Yeah.
Right. You didn't get a lot of negative feedback. So were you dancing? Did you get everybody else up to dance?
Yeah.
That is brilliant.
It's like a mini dance class.
How many people were there?
About 30. Yeah. But I just
That was the first time you tried it?
Yeah, but I just start by saying the intention here is to get uncomfortable with dance first. So that people knew that they were going to feel uncomfortable.
You're building a safe space.
Building a safe space, that's right. That's psychological safety.
Mm.
So, but to be fair, ever since being a cheerleader, I've been using these techniques subconsciously.
Yes.
Through things even just as a parent. Right, so with parenting for all my career, what I do, so it's just we brought it to the forefront. We put in a nice framework and played that back.
So tell me more about this parent angle. This is the first time we've brought up this parent angle.
Okay, so I'm the annoying parent when we're at gymnastics class and my kid takes 5 steps on a beam. I'm like, woohoo! Yes, baby!
Okay, I see.
Yeah, or when they stumble, I'm like, you're right, you've got this. Up you get, you're good.
So you're the noisy soccer mom.
Yeah.
That's what we have here. I don't know if you guys have like the noisy rugby mom.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, we must, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So that's a nice little additional story. I'm still learning more about you every day, Rob.
Yeah. That's
and
it.
we're all learning. So, all right. So now you come here and you're doing a talk about it.
Yeah.
Right? So you are a natural cheerleader.
Yeah.
This is what you do. Alex, how did you get sucked into this? How did you get motivated? How did she pull you into this motivation?
Yeah, I think we hit it off pretty quickly because we sat next to each other every day, all day.
That helps.
And then one day I bought some chocolate-covered pretzels, and I just put them on the table, and I said, you take care of these, Roz. And then I left, and I came back, and they were gone.
I was very pregnant. All I wanted in life was chocolate. And Alex, you can't just leave a bag of chocolate pretzels in front of a
But
pregnant.
they were
salty.
They were meant for you.
They were
crunchy
so
and they're
good.
chocolate, yeah.
They were so good.
But, you know.
So you fell in love with Alex.
Well,
Well,
UX Agile chocolate peanut butter.
It's bound to happen.
And we actually we've been doing Agile dancing for about 3 years now, and this Agile Cheer is the latest, I guess, iteration of this. Would you say?
Yeah. So we started with Agile dance, which was during the pandemic when we did all the talks. It's teaching the audience the fundamentals of dance and dance teaching so that the audience could then create their own dances and use them in that hybrid world to get their team up out of their seats, moving their bodies and having a bit of fun. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So tell me more about that.
Yeah, okay. So I'll start back from dance teaching. I think I started teaching officially when I was 15 years old. And then I think I've taught dancing almost for like 20 years now. Oh, yeah, like 18 years. Actually teaching dancing. I've loved it. It's always been my side hobby through normal career. And there's so many benefits to dance, and particularly while the world was going through the pandemic and there were mental health challenges, general well-being challenges. I thought what a great opportunity to kind of share my love of dance and the benefits that it has for your health, mental, physical, emotional health, and bring that to the workplace.
That is awesome. Now, all right, so now your teams are starting to create their own dance routines.
Yeah, so this is all the Agile conferences that we've done. So we taught them how to teach dances.
Yes.
Actually had someone come up, I didn't tell you this, someone came up to me today. He said, I was in your talk last year, and he said, you've actually inspired me. My wife and I now do regular dance classes, and he uses it at work.
That's fantastic.
That is great. So you guys are changing the world. You didn't even know. You're just
one dance step at a time.
Well, I mean,
hey, that's a fabulous way to do it, though, right? So one whatever at a time.
Yeah.
That is brilliant. So, all right. So now the first time you did this, that sounds like a big step. I mean, you're going up. People could have a very negative opinion of it.
I've done it a few times before then, but that was the first time I did it.
I don't think it was that hard, personally.
No, it was not hard at all. So I'd actually attended a conference, and at the conference, one of their keynote speakers got the whole crowd up and dancing.
Sweet.
And I was living my best life.
Yeah.
And just, that was kind of when I was like, you can actually really meld these two worlds of dance and corporate, because I don't think people take themselves as seriously as maybe people in business did like 30, 40 years ago. Probably wouldn't want to try it in Mad Men days.
It depends on where it is, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But I think you and I, we've done this for a while now. Yeah. And I've always observed when people, they might be a little hesitant at first, but when they start doing it, they really enjoy it.
That's it. There is that, it's that, I was chatting to someone else today and she was talking about when you're implementing change or you're changing mindsets in general. It's similar to that stage where people are not dancing and then they become dancing, like they start dancing.
Yeah.
So an example is you start the class, the meeting, we're going to do a quick dance together. Panic. I don't want to change. I want to stay the way I am right now. But then some people start dancing, and so they've already taken the change on board and they're dancing. And then there's the people who are still waiting there and haven't made the change yet to be from stationary to dancing. And what's interesting is what's going on in their minds. Like, I don't really want to do that thing. I want to stay here, but it's uncomfortable because they're all dancing. And some people will leave the room, just like when you're implementing a change at work.
Not that many.
Not that many. No. Or they'll put their cameras off. But majority will just get involved because everyone else is doing the dance.
Well, they can see other people having fun.
That's right.
Yeah.
They can see they're having fun.
It's the whole early adopters, late majority, laggards thing. You just need a few of those early people.
Yeah.
They'll start having fun, and then the other people are like, I want to have some fun too. And then it's all easy from there, really.
That's it. Like today, for example, when we gave our talk, the whole crowd were up and dancing and into it.
Like instantly.
Instantly. But you could tell some people were like, oh, but I don't want to be the only person not dancing. So
yeah. By the end, they were like on fire, right, Ross?
It was so good.
And coming to an Agile conference where people have not been out of their houses for 2 years, something like this, everybody's probably dying to get up and dance.
Yeah.
So what is the reaction from? I mean, because sometimes we work with developers.
Yeah.
Sometimes we work with financial people. Sometimes we work with stunts. What happens there? How do you overcome that?
Well, we have two settings, right? So there's one where you're all in person. Everyone's physically in the room. That situation, you don't want to be the only person not dancing. So that tends to be quite easy because people just will join in. In the online setting, people can put their cameras off and it's up to them. But what is fun is online, you can see the windows of everyone dancing all together. And it's quite cool to
the
watch.
gallery view.
Yeah, the gallery view,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
And look, some people will put their cameras off, and that's okay.
It's all right.
I'm positive those few that do put their cameras off are actually dancing
Yes.
behind the cameras
Yeah.
because they see how fun it is. And I know some of those people, myself included, that's probably the most exercise they've had in like 2 years. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That felt fun today. That was good.
That felt fun today. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So that's the dancing, but you also mentioned about celebrating.
Yes.
And I think in your presentation there's like 3 steps to it,
Yeah.
or 3 opportunities.
Mm.
How did you identify those? What is that?
We can talk about our process, how we created the talk. So
Yeah.
we got together and
Not so much the talk, but how do you do it in real
oh
life?
yeah, it depends. It depends on the scenario you're in, the team
Okay.
you've got. So there's celebrating wins. Actually, you talk about some of your agile ones. You had really good examples.
Yeah, me and Roz, we always go back and forth and have conversations on these like interactive workshop things we create together. And when we were conceptualizing Agile Cheer, you brought to the table your expertise, all your years of experience in the professional athletic setting, right?
Yeah.
And then as you're talking, I can like see in my mind's eye the equivalent things I might have done in my experiences as an Agile coach. And then I just kind of have to craft metaphors or like equivalencies. So when you talk today about the team celebrating their touchdown,
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, the game's like a sprint review, and the touchdowns were the teams delivered something super awesome to the stakeholders. And you're talking about the cheerleaders celebrating right then and there. And I'm like, oh, that's where the team's celebrating and everybody in the room and the sprint review is clapping with the stakeholders. So I can always see like mental equivalencies of everything you talk about, right? So for me, I've seen healthy, awesome organizations and teams do everything you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now, it may not have direct, like literal translation
Pom-poms.
into cheer or pom-poms, but it's pretty much all there.
Yeah.
And the way you've laid it out from the professional cheerleading standpoint just gives us a framework to think about how we can apply it in our Agile setting.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a long-winded way of saying, it directly translates between high-performing teams.
Yes.
Because when I think about you and you're like an award-winning cheerleader doing all this experience, that's a high-performing team.
Yeah.
And that's all we're talking about in the Agile setting too, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, except for we have to adapt to change because there's outside forces, and so that's why sporting analogies work so well with Agile. I mean, you talk about agility; it is our ability to respond to change.
Yeah.
Right? So we normally think of dancers as being agile, and if you look up Agile, you also see dogs. The
agility racing.
The agility racing. But when I think of Agile, I think of there's something in my way, and I have a goal.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm playing soccer or rugby, and it's my ability to respond to whatever the other team's doing, whatever the market forces are.
Sensing.
How quickly I can do that, and easily, and that's how we implement agility. Except we have to continue to focus on providing value, because I can respond to change by falling on my butt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not very valuable to anyone.
Some of us do, and hopefully we learn.
Yeah.
We do. And then we listen to Ted Lasso and feed the goldfish, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think that might be why Ted Lasso as a show is so popular. Have you watched that at all, Roz?
No.
Oh.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll come back to that,
Okay.
but it is a fabulous show. And anyway, it's about a coach who knows football. And he gets hired by a team to coach a soccer team in England. And deliberately because they wanted it to fail.
Okay.
But he ends up starting making everybody better because he's a coach. He's a human coach, not necessarily a process coach.
Yeah.
And which I think is a very deep lesson for many Agile coaches.
Yes.
We got so stuck on the process sometimes. But that's why I think this is fabulous. So was there any type of resistance when trying to implement what you guys were doing with this type of stuff?
Well, I might just, before I answer that, touch on your previous point. So in order, from a dancer perspective, in order to get from a amateur level dancer to a professional, you need a good coach, an excellent coach. So you can't just, it's very rare to go from having no coaching and just an amateur dancer to professional without every little part of your dance and performance being coached and iterated on. So I think that's really important to call out.
Okay.
We were talking about this the other night, right? Behind every great coach is another great coach and another great coach, and Olympic athletes of today become the coaches of the future and all that kind of thing. So effectively, all your dance teaching, you've absorbed all the wisdom of your coaches, and now you're coaching your dancees. Is that a word?
Dancers.
Right, and then they're getting the benefit of your wisdom and coaching, and it continues to be paid forward, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing in our sessions.
That's exactly right.
Oh, that is beautiful. Isn't that what we talk about leadership?
Yeah.
Leaders are supposed to run their mentors.
Right there.
Yeah. A good mentor a bad mentor hopes you leave. A good mentor knows you're going to.
That's right.
Yeah, we're talking, it's funny, you've got like Agile children, you're like the grandfather of Agile because you've trained so many people in Agile expertise. And then they're starting to upskill other people. Like so
That's right.
Alex is like a great-great-great-grandfather of Agile.
Here you go. Many generations of agility have you grown in.
Yeah.
I might be a great grandfather someday. Maybe I'm just a grandfather now.
But you're great no matter what.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Great, comma, grandfather.
Thank you.
So how could a team get started doing this? Like, I have no dancing. Well, dancing is not my thing. I'm sure I could learn to do anything.
It's just.
But how do people get started, and how do you introduce it into your culture? I mean, let's face it, this is a big shift.
Yeah. So, two things there. One, how can you get started? Two, how can you introduce new culture? To get started, dance is really just moving your body in time with music. So you don't need to be doing anything super fancy. You can just be bending your knees and swinging your arms around to music. And that's kind of how you get started. YouTube. You can watch everything on YouTube. I'm sure you can Dance 101.
Brain surgery.
That's
YouTube.
That's it. And then in terms of the culture, how to get started, I think one key ingredient that you need beforehand is that psychological safety to be able to do that. Because I don't think every single organization and every single culture will be immediately receptive.
It would tell you something, right?
Yeah.
If everybody refused or they fired you.
Yes. That's right.
That's a big cultural change. So
that's right.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious out now. We always have these conversations, Roz, and I always learn a little more every single time we have these talks. How do your youngins, your little kids, respond to the first time to dancing? Is there any resistance there?
There's a whole variety. So in dance teaching, we'll have some kids who pretty much cry straight away, run back to their parents. And that's fine. They need to see it happening and get comfortable in the environment and situation. But the majority of dancers in a dance class will just get amongst it because you're following. It's quite visual, right? So you're just following what's happening in the room in front. And it's always gamification. Can I do that step? Can I be in time with the music? And it's fun. When you have music playing that you enjoy, it's natural, isn't it? We spoke about that in our initial talk. Dance is quite primitive. People have been dancing since the beginning of time. And
every culture.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right.
Every culture has some.
In religion and their culture, mating rituals, all that stuff.
When you see young children and babies, sometimes you play music and they immediately start dancing.
Yeah. This is very true.
Yeah.
So I guess it is far more natural than we expected.
Yeah.
They're obviously cheerleading out there.
They are definitely cheerleading.
They were in our talk earlier. Now they're doing it.
Yeah, we riled them up.
Yeah.
So what are some of the cues you might use to start cheerleading in your organization?
Yeah. Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I think you don't have to start off right from the outset building a cheer. Hey team, we're going to create a chant,
Yeah.
and hey team, we're going to create formations like we did in our session today.
Yeah.
You can take like one component of it as an agile leader in your org and say, okay, how can we do celebratory things in our reviews? And then you can create these kind of like tribal rituals where like at the end or conclusion of a demonstration of a particular feature, you might celebrate in a specific way. Maybe it's jazz hands. Yeah. And you create these habits and these rituals that you repeat and reinforce through time and just doing it. I think you can start that way and build acceptance and safety in your organization. There are classic case studies on organizations who create dances to build like camaraderie. Yeah. I was talking to a military person today who was in our session, and they had been in the military like 20 years. And they said the synchrony thing really, they identified with it, they resonated with it, because when they go through boot camp, they teach them a lot of synchrony, like marching and step and doing stuff together as teams. So there's lots of things you can do that way. Yeah. How do you build that synchrony through doing things in teams? Another one I've seen is like you can have some kind of ritual where you in the stand-up, for example, you might have some audible cue like a bell, and then everybody gets up and troops to the stand-up room together in synchrony. There's lots of little ways you could do it. I mean, I think ultimately a great scrum master, a great coach and leader would figure out how to make it relevant. Yes. And be creative. Yeah. And put some effort into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
And have fun with it.
That's one of the keys.
And we can use it from the perspective of experimentation. So we're going to do an experiment today. I'm going to stand up and have a little dance. Let's see how it goes. And then afterwards, the team might love it. It might be really energizing. I assume it will be most likely quite energizing and enjoyable. Or the experiment fails, and that's fine.
And they do something else.
Do something else.
Okay. That's a good idea. I like starting off with jazz hands or something like that.
Yeah, start small.
Yeah. Because anybody can do that.
That's it.
Yeah. And then probably it's very likely naturally somebody's going to stand up. Yeah. After that, and then do something else. Throw a little more in. So
musical chairs.
What we did today was get the teams to co-create their own cheer. And that was awesome because people brought in little things they had. There was one group, there was someone who liked salsa, and so they had a little salsa step into their cheer.
Yeah, they were swinging their hips.
Yeah,
so all the teams were making their own cheer?
Oh, by the end, yeah. So we taught the fundamentals, and then at the end they had to make their own cheer. And so throughout the rest of the conference, when they see each other, they have to do their cheer. They
were doing chants and formations.
They were so good.
They were definitely better than me.
They were better than us at our cheer. How was that, guys?
Yeah, I know. It was fantastic.
Do you guys have your own cheer?
Well, we made it up last night.
We do. We have like a dance cheer, and then you have a chant, but I don't think it's appropriate for this forum. We'll show you after. It's an Alex level cheer.
Okay, all right. That sounds good. That sounds good. Well, we're running close to time.
Yeah.
They're getting crazy noisy out there.
Yeah.
And they're getting ready to serve free beverages.
I'm interested in that as
well. There we go. So we want to take advantage of that. So this was fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for this. Because I know it was very short notice when I contacted you.
Yeah, are you ready now? I'm like, yeah, sure.
and Alex just walks over and says, "Hey, I'm Alex." And I'm like, "Okay, who are you?"
Yeah, I know.
Because I realized who he was after he said that. But and any final words for everyone?
My final words would be, I'd love to see more people just give it a try. Give it a try, particularly in the online settings. Just even if it is little jazz hands, like how can you get your team moving to music, and it only needs to be 30 seconds, not even. So that's my final words. Experiment.
You know, I think we could all use a little more boogie in our life,
Yes.
right? So a little boogie down won't kill you, and I think once you try it, you'll probably have a good time. So just go for it. See what happens.
Yeah.
Don't take it too
Just go for
seriously.
it. Don't take it too seriously. Have a good time. Experiment.
I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. Well, everyone, this is Agile World News. We were here again with Rosalind Martin and Alex Slowly. So his moves are a little slower. And you can go in the show notes and get all the information you need to contact both of them.
Yep.
And maybe a copy of the presentation and other things. And thank you guys so much for coming all the way from Sydney just to meet us.
Excellent.
Just to meet us
Thank
here.
you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.